From saving time on chores to bending the space-time continuum. Speedsters, there's a lot of them. And while some are far more capable than others, they all fall on the same spectrum. Kinda. From those that can manipulate time and alter their surroundings, to those that are just kinda boring. Speedsters, we love them all. As we unravel the layers of the Superspeed onion, you won't just understand Superspeed, your very existence will be recrafted, allowing you to visualize the concepts as if you were granted Superspeed. You won't just know who the fastest speedster is, your soul will ascend from a state of superficial nihilism, where speed is no longer a reading on a speedometer, but rather the great unknown, where the rules that form any sort of logical sense don't apply anymore, where you start to hear the music. Now on paper, level 1 should comprise of the slowest speedsters, which it does, but there's more to speed than just, well, speed. At this level, speed doesn't breach our understanding of what's possible. Instead, its somewhat mundane nature is portrayed in a way that almost makes us appreciate the holder of the speed a lot more. They don't seem like a freak of nature or, dare I say it, a god. They just put their clothes on faster and can outrun most vehicles. Let's remember, at this level, time still rules. You're only fast enough to save it, but you can't manipulate it yet. That comes later. These speedsters don't dare push themselves past their limits. Their powers are more like a glitch on a video game attribute wheel than a gift from the gods of space and time. But nonetheless, audiences don't critique writing decisions or look for any basis of consistency. They rather ask questions like, why is he chasing him? Rather than, why can he run so fast? And even if you did explain it to them, they probably still wouldn't get it. At level 1, it's not about being faster or stronger. The main focus here is telling a story. Pikachu, Lightning McQueen, the Tasmanian Devil, although all having very different top speeds, and to even call it super speed at this level is a little bit of a letdown. At level 1, most of these speedsters were introduced to you in your infancy. And although they are the slowest we'll cover in this video, for most of us, this was the first time we fell in love with super speed, although it isn't quite super yet. This is the level where you start to notice speedsters are actually pretty freaking cool. You start imagining how insanely overpowered you would be if you could have even a fraction of the power that Turbo or Accelerate has from Ben 10. You're growing enough to ask more questions. What's his top speed? Can't he run faster than that? Why doesn't he use his super speed more? You've started to use the word more. And you love it. Every scene gives you something different to talk about. Speedsters don't just run, they can outfight you, they can think faster than you, they can do everything I can do, but faster. But at level 2, concepts like phasing and tachyons are still far from your understanding. The speedsters still feel held back by something. It's almost as if there's an invisible ceiling that keeps them from being too powerful. Speedsters still play by the rules. That slow motion thing we all love hasn't been shown to us yet. As much as speedsters have gotten considerably faster compared to level 1, the thought of them losing is still plausible. Their speed is great, but limited heavily by their perception. They still have to think at normal speeds while moving at hundreds of kilometers per hour. This limitation keeps them from being able to fully explore creative ways to win fights. They have to constantly think on their toes all the time. They're like that one kid that made every team because he was fast, but the second you passed him the ball, it was like his legs weren't attached to his body. At this level, speedsters stop obeying physics. Concepts like air resistance and momentum no longer apply. Speedsters are now officially super. The weight of playing by the rules has been lifted off their shoulders. Characters like Sonic are introduced to us. Their speed is far more powerful and far more useful than all the previous levels. They can do a lot more than just run fast. Sonic has increased durability and increased strength. He can manipulate energy around him, which he can use to either fuel his speed or just gain a competitive advantage against his opponents. At this level, speedsters gain an increased perception, which is often shown to us by these really freaking cool slow motion scenes. No, like genuinely. Name something cooler than this scene from the X-Men. I'll wait. The jump from level 2 to level 3 feels far greater than the jump from level 1 to 2. You're enjoying super speed far more. Every speedster seems like they fit perfectly in their storyline or superhero team. We no longer measure their speed in kilometers per hour. We use something called the Mach number, which represents the ratio of an object's speed relative to the speed of sound in that surrounding medium. That's right. At level 3, these speedsters are faster than sound. A-Train is the perfect ambassador for level 3, with a top speed of roughly Mach 1.1 or 1,336 kilometers per hour. This number wasn't pulled out of my ass. I'm assuming he was running his fastest to win this race. But of course, speedsters are the most inconsistently written characters of all time. Now for A-Train, he is kind of balanced by the fact that he needs to juice up with compound V to reach anything close to the speeds he's showcasing in this scene, but still, level 3 is extremely fast. Surely you would die if you went any faster. Remember everything I said about level 3? Forget that. This is where shit really gets impressive. Quicksilver, Quicksilver, Quicksilver. By the way, not this one. He just kind of sucks, I'm not gonna lie. At level 4, that slow motion thing is mandatory. The perception gained in level 3 feels like baby food compared to this. Not only is Quicksilver leap years faster than A-Train, he also gains a noticeable amount of stability when at his maximum speed. We've officially reached the point in this video where none of these speedsters are consistent at all. In one scene, they can freeze time, and in the next, they get packed up by a regular moving object. Nonetheless, top speeds are now officially up to interpretation. Some sources claiming Quicksilver's top speed in X-Men movies is somewhere around Mach 10 or 12,348 kilometers per hour. Literally 10 times faster than A-Train. Now before you tell me about the comics, don't. They're way too inconsistent to even dive into, so let's just stick to the movies and TV shows for now. One of A-Train's greatest achievements was running faster than a bullet. Not bad. Quicksilver plays with bullets like marbles. They literally almost appear frozen to him. At level 4 and on, Superspeed becomes noticeably unfair. You have a gun? Smoked. You have cool powers where you can shoot beams out of your hands? Smoked. You have super strength? Smoked. You have an ice gun? Then you probably win. I'm just kidding, there's obviously no way a speedster would lose to something as ironically slow as an ice gun. Now as I said, there's far more to super speed than just running fast.
What?
That's what separates most of these speedsters at this point in the video. Level 5 is about poise, speed with a little bit more vibrance and personality. That vibrance and personality can be summed up in one simple phrase: the Speed Force. That's right, we got Barry at level 5. The Speed Force is what protects Barry from forces like friction and air resistance, but also keeps his powers active. The Speed Force also allows Barry to manipulate electricity right from his fingertips. Now like I said, it would be a no-brainer to put Barry at level 7 considering he's probably the fastest speedster out there. But when you consider the additional attributes that some of these speedsters have, it gets pretty techy. Oh, and I forgot to mention they can phase now.
Plus your molecules slow down enough to pass through the molecular structure of solid objects.
That's not even limited to the comic books, that's literally a real thing. It's called quantum tunneling. If you don't believe me, try it for yourself. They can also perform what's known as a speed mirage, which is when you move so quickly between 2 points in space that it seems like there's 2 of you. The Speed Force also gives Barry the ability to time travel. This requires a speedster to run at or faster than the speed of light. At level 5, you can literally change history. But like anything that sounds too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. Flash almost never uses his time travel without f***ing himself over in the show. Like when he goes back in time at the end of season 2 to save his mother, creating Flashpoint, which led to Savitar, DeVoe, and a bunch of other villains. A level 5 speedster makes a level 3 speedster look like a civilian. In Barry's case, his top speed is roughly Mach 13, or 13,000 kilometers per hour. Now we could argue he could run much faster than that by looking at some of these slow motion scenes, as well as the fact that he can literally time travel, which would require him to run at Mach whatever this number is. Other speedsters among this level include Wally, Zoom, and Savitar. Level 6. We've reached the point where speedsters are not trying to play by the rules. The Speed Force may allow you to travel through time under certain conditions, but for the Mavericks in level 6, this is more like a suggestion. Who else could I be referring to than the greatest antagonist of all time, Reverse Flash? Everything great about Barry Allen, this man takes to the extreme, in a negative way. He got so tired of being held back by the Speed Force when it comes to time travel that he created his own Speed Force called the Negative Speed Force. 10 out of 10 points for creativity. This Speed Force allows him to jump through wormholes like a racing dog without having to face the same consequences as Barry. But of course, every now and then, he has to run from the Black Flash. At level 6, Reverse Flash is in a league of his own. He mastered speed and time manipulation so much that there's literally infinite versions of himself in every timeline scattered across the multiverse, making him nearly impossible to kill. Now, Reverse Flash isn't necessarily faster than Barry Allen, but his knowledge on complex subjects that we won't even get into in this video make him a level above Barry for me. He's my GOAT, leave me alone. He literally got his powers by replicating the exact same conditions that gave Barry his powers. He's a madman with a no Speed Force ceiling hanging over his head, and there we have it. only one remains. The origin of Black Flash came at the end of Season 2 when Barry defeated Zoom in a battle for speed. Zoom at this point had abused time travel so much that the Speed Force had turned him into the Black Flash. So much of the Black Flash still remains a mystery to this day, but every speedster who's ever died has reported seeing the Black Flash moments before the event. Black Flash doesn't play by any rules, he governs them. With a literal infinite stamina meter, Black Flash is known to chase speedsters down for millions of years through time. In Wally's case, the Black Flash chased him down for so long that Wally reached the end of time, where death has no meaning anymore. At level 7, you realize that this whole super speed thing was much easier to digest when all it meant was running fast and having cool perception. We've reached the point where the fabric of space and time don't even exist anymore, where the paradoxes don't stop piling and the questions don't stop ending. Alright guys, that's all I've got for today. I've got to study for my exams. I'll see you guys on the other side. Godspeed.